Yes, I am wearing a mask. There is a doctor in the house, and I want to ensure him that I'm following his advice, masking up, social distancing, and washing my hands. Join me, please, in welcoming CNN Chief Medical Correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Well, thank you for doing all that to protect yourself, but also to protect everyone around you. After all, we are all in this together. I want to start off by giving my sincere gratitude to the Alliance for Women in Media Foundation for inviting me to be a part of the Gracie Awards and this special recognition of the journalists and reporters who are on the front lines, bringing us the latest news on the COVID-19 pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement. 8 months and what seems like a lifetime ago, the world first heard about a novel coronavirus infecting people in China.
Mystery illness.
All too soon, the virus spread around the world and reached our own cities, towns, and homes.
An update on the spread of the deadly coronavirus. Now, a short time ago, the World Health Organization declared the outbreak an international public health emergency.
21 positive cases on that cruise ship now.
Breaking news tonight, America locked down.
Residents are now required to stay home.
All businesses, except for essential ones, will be required to cease all activities.
Once we understood the rapid rate of this contagion, we were all asked to stay home and to stay safe. The lockdown required that we would more than ever depend on news media and journalists to be our eyes and our ears, to provide us answers to those basic but all-important questions of who, what, where, when. The answers came to us in our homes via television, via radio, social and print media. And while most of us sheltered in place, journalists worldwide grabbed their cameras, they grabbed their notepads and their recorders, and they headed to the front lines to get answers. And you know what? They did this knowing that they were also risking their own health and their own lives.
So we're just at the epicenter of this crisis. Doctors and nurses are working 8-10-hour shifts. They can't leave this room because their PPE, their protective clothing, has been contaminated.
The Texas Medical Center reports that they are already at 100% ICU capacity.
Almost every patient in here is on a ventilator, and their chance of beating the virus is slim.
Knowing how quickly things have progressed here, are you worried?
I feel that this is just the beginning for us.
What has this done to your family?
There's no words I can describe this. Losing my only daughter.
They are at critical capacity and they are begging for help.
We're following the volunteers right now, distributing food to families, most of whom don't have running water, most of whom are elders, and from what we've been told, some of which have COVID-19.
In many ways, you guys are the front lines keeping the
Right, we're one of the essential people out there.
The coronavirus has taken over 125,000 of our loved ones in the U.S.
Latinos have been the essential workers on the front lines. Only 1 in 6 Latinos has a job that lets them work remotely.
What does leadership look like in this time of crisis?
Governors really have led. We've been on the front lines and we've stepped up.
And why did you feel that that was necessary?
Well, because lives were at stake.
Dr. Williams also tells me that she's starting to see younger and younger patients not just test positive for COVID-19, but get hospitalized and need intubation.
Last night, fever spiked again, and I started to develop some really severe nausea.
I actually took the test. They take a couple of blood droplets, and within minutes, it tells you if you've had the virus, if you're still contagious.
My body gave me the middle finger. Thank goodness my lungs did not. I was one of the lucky ones.
Then in May, we all watched in horror for almost 8 minutes, witnessing the death of George Floyd. With his dying breath, Mr. Floyd called for his mother. And women all over the world heard him, triggering international protests against police violence in the Black community. And then once again, journalists put themselves in harm's way, facing attacks, not just on their journalism, which some would characterize as fake news, but also on their person. In fact, according to the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker, to date, there have been more than 669 reported aggressions against the press during the Black Lives Matter movement. A free press is the bedrock of our nation's liberties. Today's reporters and journalists are essential workers. Their voices are essential to the survival of our democracy. The women that we recognize with this tribute, our mothers and wives and sisters and daughters, they are professionals who won't allow the story to be ignored or the truth to be untold. We stand in awe of their work and want them to know that they have our ongoing support and our eternal gratitude.
This has deteriorated in a way that a lot of folks who live in this neighborhood were hoping that it didn't.
This is the heart of New York City, and like so much here, it is broken.
Dayton Police Chief Richard Beal saying officers were forced to use tear gas and pepper spray on protesters Saturday night.
Amid the escalating tensions, many are hoping the message does not get lost.
When you saw the video, what did you think?
That could be my father. That could be my brother. That could be me.
Why won't you tell me where Brianna is? I need to see Brianna. And he says, well, she's still in the apartment.
Wow. I'm so sorry that we have to make you tell this story.
Are you okay?
I'm getting shot. I'm getting rubber bullets, rubber bullets.
Who are they aiming that at?
It's like directly at us. Directly.
Why are they doing that?
He's shooting at our crew.
Do they not know that obviously they see the camera?
Right.
We identified ourselves as press, and they fired tear gas canisters on us at point blank range.
We've also seen tear gas being used. Here we go, they're moving through again. This is exactly what it looks like. Exactly what it looks like. We're to stay safely.
Oh.
Whoa.
You heard us telling them that we were media, but they don't care. They're being indiscriminate at the moment.
I want to know if he's going to get justice for my brother and arrest all the officers.
The Floyd family has asked if you are going to get justice for George Floyd by making sure that the other officers are arrested and that eventually convicted.
And this is the Floyd family right now?
This is the Floyd family.
To the Floyd family, being silent or not intervening, to me, you're complicit. Mr. Floyd died in our hands, and so I see that as being complicit.
I know you are hurting, and I know it's not enough. You cannot bring George Floyd back. But you heard what he said, that each and every officer who did not speak up against what was happening is complicit. This is the police chief saying that.
People are coming to pay tribute to this life that was lost, but at the same time to celebrate the possibility of change and the possibility of hope.
With a salute from officers, George Floyd's casket was carried to the celebration of his life. Not just the family of George Floyd inside the sanctuary, but the families of Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, and Ahmaud Arbery, who say they will work to stop these killings, Nora, from ever happening again.
There is one memory I will always keep from these extraordinary times. Every night at 7 o'clock here in the greatest city in the world. It is so touching, like every night, and comforting. Just a reminder that we're never alone and that we are all in it together.
I don't think we can fully comprehend the risk these journalists take. As painful as it may be, it's important for us as a society to have a conversation about social justice. And no matter what you believe, this virus is not fake.
No, it is not. And I have to tell you as well, the journalists covering the pandemic are at great risk. Even if you can't see this virus, it is there. And in order to continue to inform, they've got to enter hospitals, they've got to interview medical staff and scientists and COVID patients themselves. And when they do that, it places themselves at risk of contracting the virus. The best way we can honor their work is to be considerate to each other, to wear our masks, to wash our hands, and to practice physical distancing. With these simple actions, their sacrifice will continue to save lives.
It's the least we can do out of consideration for each other. Thank you.
Thank you. And again, it is my honor to be here. Be safe, be healthy, and be kind.